is the new sexy.
Welcome to Nerd is the New Sexy, episode 26, season 2, number 6. To make sure we do not upset anyone's sensibilities tonight, we will be censoring ourselves.
No!
Oh.
There will be no censoring of any kind on this fucking podcast, because you and all your sensitive ears. Sensitivity, censoring, grow balls or a nerdy vagina. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna do it right.
Censorship.
Welcome. Once again, I am Wyldfyre1, and with me, as always, is my good friend
Sunrie, which is good news because I am back permanently once again, thanks to life finally getting all back together. I'm finally in my new place in Nevada, and I have internet once again.
Internet is a commodity. It's something you need if you're going to do stuff like this. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I don't have the kick-ass 150 megabyte connection that I used to with Comcast. I've got Charter out here, which is about 60, and I'm getting about 38, which kind of pisses me off. But I mean, it spikes into the 60s, sometimes the 70s, but you know, what can you do? It's the fastest that's available out here.
Yeah, what do you expect, right?
Yeah, but I got a DVR now, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, well, you know what? You trade faster at
for better TV.
TV. So there you go. So today's episode is about what?
Censorship. Fuck censorship.
Yeah, censorship in animes, video games, television, everything that we know and love.
Yeah, books, mangas, comics, everything.
So that and we'll talk about a good type of censorship, like the video game censoring, like when I say that I mean like, rated A for adult or rated RM for mature.
Right.
That's a different kind of censorship, but that's something we'll bring up as well, and and then we'll probably get into something that really gets on my nerves when we talk about that, and that's when people just buy their kids any game.
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, if anybody hears a reverb on my end, it's because I'm still getting moved in. I don't have a whole lot of stuff in here, so it might be a little echoey. So I apologize for that. We like I said, we try not to get political, but this is kind of a political subject, and
to an extent.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not going to talk about this senator, that senator, or this party, that party. Who's actually responsible for the censorship? Republicans or liberals, Democrats or conservatives? No, we're not going to go there. Don't worry. But I mean, we will mention people who have been on the forefront of censorship, and it really is on both sides. This is a bipartisan issue, and everybody should be offended at the issue of censorship. I'm the kind of person who doesn't like censorship at all. I understand why they do it on the radio, simply because it's accessible to everybody.
Well, especially for live events.
Yeah. Yeah, and, for radio, for music and stuff like that, and people are like, oh, well, there's children listening, and, you have to have the FCC involved and everything like that. It's like, okay, first of all, I understand why they do it. I don't agree with it, but I understand why they're doing it.
See, I think censorship is a necessary evil to an extent.
Right, yeah. It's when it starts affecting how the actual integrity of the medium when it's being censored.
Let me put it this way. We'll use a video game, and I won't it doesn't have to be any video game, just use your imagination. You have a mature video game, rated M for mature, for adults to buy, and it has, we'll say something like GTA, where there's sex, drugs, and rock and roll around every corner.
Woo!
And you turn around and there's this amazing sex scene in the first, like GTA 4. At the beginning, they had that crazy BDSM sex scene.
Oh yes.
And imagine that happening, and then all of a sudden, just because some people did not agree with it, that was not a correct way of doing things on a video game, they decide to take it out.
Yeah.
Now, is that right? Is that a right thing to do simply because it's already been rated as mature, and mature adults should be playing this game? So why the fuck would you take that out? Would you go to like Skinamax and go, hey, all of your skin flicks need to go.
Right. See, and I think that's let's just jump into the whole political aspect of it right now, like you're kind of bringing up a little bit.
Yeah.
Why is it okay in a movie? From all the Rambo movies I've seen, this doesn't happen. But let's pretend that this is a brand new Rambo movie, and I'm only using Rambo because it's a recognizable name. Why is it okay that in a movie where a guy is going around being Rambo, blowing people up with explosive arrows, shoving guns up people's asses and pulling the trigger, and then he goes out and fucks 3 women in the same movie? Why is that okay? But simulated pixels and polygons on the screen are suddenly not okay. Where is the double? Why is there this double standard? I can go into Best Buy and I can get the goriest, sexiest movies as long as it is not XXX, full dick, full vagina, full penetration.
You gotta go to a special place for that.
You gotta go for a special place.
Or the internet.
Yeah, and I can get that, but the original Grand Theft Auto San Andreas I cannot buy because it can be modded to have a simulated, fully clothed sex scene in it. A second version of the mod was released, in which they renewed. Originally, they were both closed because the minigame wasn't even finished. The coding was just simply left in.
Oh, that's right. And what was the game? Which Grand Theft Auto was it that they cut the wings off the plane?
Grand Theft Auto 3.
That was 3.
Coding.
Yeah. Remember, and that was, of course, slightly after a certain event happened.
Yeah.
And, they cut the wings off the planes. What did that have to do with anything? It's like me going, hey, I'm going to take these tires off this car. You get to drive around, but you don't get tires.
Right, and yet I could go to the airport in that game and shoot up people.
Yeah, I mean, it was just, these types of censorship make no damn sense. But you got these people backing it, like, oh, that's a great idea.
And again, it's on both sides of the party. You have certain religious, and I'm going to call them religious groups because they're doing it through the religion. They're not really doing it through anything else.
I don't know. I'd say stupidity.
Yeah, screaming, oh, well, we've got these rules, so you have to bend to us. Okay, and then let's pretend that's only conservative Republican type thing, which it's not. And nerds, out there know what I'm talking about. It's not just, you don't have to be a right wing to be religious or have faith. But we're in fantasy world right now. So you've got the right saying that, but then on the left you've got people going, oh my God, no, these games are violent. These games are terrible. They should be regulated by the government and just taken off the shelves, and no one should play video games, and we should sue the manufacturers. People like Hillary Clinton, and I'm using her name.
Well, she was actually pretty bad about it.
Yeah, because she was really bad about it. It's like, come on, guys, you can't be doing this. Leave it alone. Now, other ways of censorship and stuff like that, like I was talking to Wild earlier when we were discussing bringing this up, is things like, you've got Xenoblade Chronicles. Now, I'm not saying I want to look at a bunch of half-naked 13-year-olds running around, but a character in that game is 13, and one of her bikini options in the game in the Japanese release was a bikini-type outfit. And that was removed for the Western audiences because, that's too pedophilic. Not really.
There's anime that's released in the United States, that's even worse than that. So, and I'm not even talking like hentai. I'm talking like
ecchi and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you also, God, I remember so bad in Sailor Moon when that first came out and how censored that was.
Oh God.
Their transformation sequences. Oh, they're nude when they're transformed. No. You just saw the outlines, but God forbid some mom sees it and gets offended that, that looks kind of like a shadow boob.
Well, this is where I'll kind of, to a little bit of an extent, defend it. Simply because if I had a daughter, I won't be like, look, there's a slut on television, go emulate her.
And yet these same parents will allow their children to watch Britney Spears and Miley Cyrus.
And Miley Cyrus and twerk and shit. Yeah, I understand. But all that comes down to is parenting.
Can't say the P word. or how about one of my favorite and yet most hated form of censorship was Final Fantasy VI Advanced. It added to Celeste's character that during the scene when Locke finds her, she was getting beat to shit.
Oh yeah, the Empire soldiers were slapping the shit out of her.
Yeah, and just beating her up, and then she collapses after it. Now, during the re-release, she simply falls over.
Hey guys.
Yeah, it just makes her look weak now. Because before it showed her standing up,
I think there was some dialogue too, like she was pretty much disrespecting, like "fuck you" or something like that.
Yeah, and then she collapses afterwards. Now she just passes out, so it makes her look weak. Especially if you take her to Zozo and you stop off at Copenhagen or something like that.
I can't remember. It's been so long.
Yeah,
since it's like Final Fantasy VI.
Yeah, it's like Copenhagen or something like that. Where you can pick up Shadow if you only have 3 people.
Oh,
and you go there and you find Locke. And you get Locke's half dead, well, I guess fully dead former girlfriend, and she comes walking back in and she goes, "Locke, I didn't know," and goes back up. Now, originally, with her getting beat up and then finally passing out from that, it starts to show a little bit of a change in her personality. She's not as cold. Now it just makes her look like how Edgar tells her, Locke's got a complicated past. Don't think that he's falling in love with you. And she says, I'm a soldier, not some lovesick puppy.
Yeah.
Well, now it just makes her look like that. It really does.
Because at least you kind of got to see that soldier aspect of her, you know?
Right.
But that's
character development.
That's where censorship is bad. Like you said earlier, why they did that was because they don't want to see people hitting girls. Well, guess what? The world is a fucking ugly place.
Yes.
And shit like that happens.
Yeah. I mean, and yes, it's called fantasy, and, we should have some kind of liberty with it and stuff like that, which is one of the lines I love in the newest epic rap battles of history with J.R.R. Martin versus J.R.R. Tolkien.
Something like that.
Yeah, and he says, I make people fall in love with my characters and then I kill them. And he says, sure, in real life, it makes sense for people to randomly die, but it's called fantasy. And I was just like, you got a really good point about that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, same thing with the game. Yes, it's fantasy, but in a game that's got walking, magic, blood-filled robots and swords that hit with magical abilities and rings that you uncurse to become the best things in the game, it's okay to have a character show that toughness and then collapse and then develop later.
Well, this is what it all comes down to, man. Well, in the long run, this is it. People are worried that this is going to condone people hitting women and beating on women, and women are people are fucking. Again, we're not politically correct. We're not social justice warriors. You know what?
Not at all.
What it comes down to is this. This is the fucking brass tacks of the situation. Teach your children right from wrong. You don't have. The whole aspect of seeing that scene is going, that's fucked up.
Exactly. And it's just like, okay, now, like we've always said, we are not politically correct here. We are not social justice warriors here. So we are going to be making mention of certain words and things like that because it's necessary to this conversation.
Yeah.
In the book Huck Finn, now, I know, nerds, some of you out there are in California, and I don't know how long it's been since you've been in school and stuff like that, or how much you've heard, but I know that certain school districts in California, when they read the book Huck Finn, instead of just deciding, you know what, we're not going to make this part of our reading program, they have gone through and taken out the word nigger.
And got rid of the N-word.
Yeah, and changed it to slave.
That's almost as bad.
See, this is where it's worse. Because Huck Finn calling Jim Nigger Jim is commentary in this aspect, and this is why it's very important. This is a man who has saved Huck Finn's life. This is a man who Huck Finn looks up to. This is a man that Huck Finn actually loves and cares for, and he still calls him. That is very important commentary. It shows how bad things were, and it's there to show how wrong it is.
Yeah.
That is why it is in that book. It is to show how bad it is and for you to understand that. By removing that, you totally change the aspect of the entire medium and the entire commentary.
Well, you call him slave, that's almost, like I said, that's almost worse in my opinion.
Yeah, because now it doesn't make sense. He's calling him a slave. Well, yeah, of course he's a slave.
Yeah, well,
this is a man who Huck Finn in those stories doesn't respect his father, doesn't respect his family. This is a man he respects, and he still calls him Nigger Jim.
Yeah, it's that kind of censorship that I could see where they did it, but I can also see the bad in that. Like, I'll put it this way. It's worked for how long? Like, the book's been around for how long?
Right.
You know, all I know is if I wrote a book and it was a big book and a lot of people loved it and it was loved throughout the years and I was long dead, I wouldn't want anyone putting their fucking hand in my book.
Right, yeah, just leave it as it is. It's written the way it is on purpose.
For a reason. It was a sign of the times. It wasn't a good time. We were very ignorant at the time because of racism and stuff, but it says a lot about Huck Finn's character.
Exactly.
I can say something a certain way, like I can say, today I went to the coast and somehow my balls got blown off. Now, let's just censor that. Today I went to the coast and somehow my no-no zone got blown off.
Right.
Is that like, I know it's a little goofy way of putting it, but in a way, like, is it more understandable? Like, do you know where's my no-no zone? What the fuck am I talking about?
Right. And this was, I want to say I was in 5th grade, maybe 6th grade. One of our things for reading, and I always remember this, the book literally starts off with the quote, "Fuck you." And, well, it wasn't a book. It was like an excerpt from a book or a short story or something like that.
Oh.
And I remember reading it and going, wait a minute. I just read "fuck you" in my school book, and I'm supposed to be reading this. The discussion from the teacher was, is that okay to have been written? And we're like, well, I don't know. And I remember this clear as day, and I said, yes. And she said, why? I said, because it's not written in a simple sentence. It was spoken in a dialogue as the character, and now we understand what kind of person he is. That his last words spoken on Earth before he was shot by another man was "fuck you."
Yeah, you know.
So if you go back and change that to be "I don't care for you," and that was his last words, well, who gives a shit?
Or Rosebud.
It's a sled. I just saved you 2 hours.
Yes, it's dialogue. It's the character. Like Imagine you say something and your last words were "fuck you," and those were your last, written down word, and someone changed that "fuck you" to "oh, hi, how you doing?"
It changes who you are.
It changes who you are. It changes your character altogether. So that's why we say Huck Finn. It was necessary in Huck Finn.
Yeah. And then you've got cases of really bizarre types of censorship, like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Yeah, Jitaro, and I don't know if I pronounced that right, nerds. You can kick me in the balls later. He's 17. The age to legally smoke in Japan is 20. So instead of showing him smoking, they put shadows across his face, but they still leave the cherry and the smoke.
Yeah, because that makes sense.
Yeah. But then when it's exported to like America, they tend to remove that kind of stuff. It's really bizarre. And then you've got things like Sanji from One Piece who smokes. Well, in the American version, he's always got a lollipop. It's really awkward.
Well, I don't know. You know what? I guess it all depends on who they're trying to sell it to. Like One Piece, when it first came out, it was more like a Pokemon-esque kind of child's, entertainment series. And then
that's my other point is they need this mentality of cartoons or video games are for children needs to stop. It has to stop. South Park is not made for 9-year-olds or 8-year-olds.
There's rape in South Park.
There's rape in South Park. Yeah, there's politics. There's things that these people don't understand, but because it's a cartoon, it's for children.
No.
It doesn't work that way. That's not the way it works.
Same goes for video games. I'm sure all the nerds out there hate hearing when someone goes, "Oh, you play video games? That's for little kids."
Yeah. Considering the average age of the gamer, I think has now been raised to 35 years old. We can handle this shit.
Yeah.
And the ESRB, look, I understand that there needs to be a rating system and stuff like that. They need to fuck off. I'm serious. If a game has a full-on boner inside wet vajayjay, and I don't want to see that kind of stuff, then I won't buy that game or play that game.
Well, no, you see, okay, on the other side of the spectrum, and this is where we're gonna get into my fucking rant. You have those parents out there who just buy their fucking kids whatever the fuck they want.
Yes.
Walk in while that scene's happening and going, "Oh my God, what did I buy my child?" And of course, instead of blaming themselves, They blame the fucking game makers.
Yeah. Oh, but watching our kid blow off somebody's head, you're fine.
Not so bad, you know. To be honest with you guys, the people like at GameStop and these other places, you know, all these other game places are required to tell you if it's an M-rated game. So whose fault is it for not listening? Who the fuck is at fault for buying their child a game that he goes up and says, "Mommy, I want this"? Who didn't pay attention to the goddamn ESRB rating in the first place?
Yeah, and the ESRB will put on the cartridge exactly why it's rated that.
Nudity,
unlike going to a rated R movie, like, okay, so you've got The Expendables, which is rated R. Then you have the 40-year-old virgin, which is rated R. But you don't know why they're rated R.
You have any movie with Ron Jeremy, which is rated X.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but because he's been in some few movies that weren't quite.
Yeah, that's true.
He was in Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Nerd fact.
Fact.
So yeah, I mean, so you just have to kind of guess. Oh, I guess that one's violence, that one's sex, or this one has sex and violence. Maybe this one has some violence, but mostly sex. You don't know. But if you pick up a game that says M and you turn it around the back, it'll say things like gambling, use of drugs, sexual references, partial nudity, violence. It spells it the fuck out, so you can't even say, "Oh, well, I didn't know." It's on the fucking game.
So in the long run, it's your goddamn fault.
Yeah, it is your fault. You fail as a parent.
Don't go blaming the ESRB or the video game industry for making these games. There are games like Dress 'em Up Barbie that you can buy for your little girl. If you're buying Grand Theft Auto for your daughter, and she's like 10 to 12 years old, you got some issues, motherfucker.
Yeah, and then don't start coming out about how these games need to be censored and this needs to be taken out and don't show this, don't show that. And, you know, and YouTube is actually really fucking bad about this too.
Oh, we've had that discussion.
Yeah, you can, if you show, and I'm going to use this because I love freaking Greasy Moose Sexual Lobster. The guy cracks me the fuck up with every animation he does. I'm going to give a shout out again. We're not sponsored. We don't do anything, but we give credit where credit's due. I fucking love Greasy Moose Sexual Lobster. He cracks me the fuck up. He has an animation out there about YouTube and putting stuff on there. And he's right. You show a picture of Pikachu in a bikini with huge fucking tits, it's okay. The minute you put outline of nipples on there, it's banned.
I guess nipples are bad.
Yeah, it boggles my mind. There have been, I'm not kidding, there have been a couple times where I've had to actually fight YouTube on a few of my earlier GTA videos because of excessive language and violence. I'm playing Grand Theft Auto talking with my friends. I'm sorry, maybe I should put on a fucking thong and shake my butt at the camera.
Oh God, yeah, twerking. Ladies, stop twerking on fucking YouTube. And we know it's all. Oh God! It's gonna get me.
I'm sorry.
Fucking tangent.
I like pretty much all of a woman. I don't want to just see her ass.
No, I love booties. I'm a big old booty fan. I love a girl's ass, but I don't like seeing someone doing it just for attention. And that, let's be honest, ladies, that's all it's for. You're hoping someone sees it, and you're hoping someone fucking picks you up for like some modeling gig because it's all for attention, or your boyfriend across the fucking country. Or whatever. Just stop. Do that shit the old-fashioned way. Shake your booty for a fucking private message, and not everyone wants to see that. You don't need 1,000 fucking messages telling you how hot it is to make yourself feel good. Just stop. We're not asking for like blurs and stuff like that to censor it. We're just saying stop. It's overplayed. Stop altogether. Like twerking. I want to kick everyone that twerks in the fucking butthole.
Yeah.
It's hot to an extent. Maybe a little bit of jiggly, but not like continuous butt clap jiggle. Oh God.
Yeah.
But seriously, like censorship in video games and anime and stuff like that, it's just, what we're saying is that it makes no sense. They want, you can have a really skimpy outfit on, and example being, you could see a camel toe, but you can't have a nipple outlines.
Right. Yeah, and then you've got things like, oh God, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yu-Gi-Oh?
Yu-Gi-Oh. That, I think, of everything, had the worst censorship. Anyone who likes Yu-Gi-Oh knows we never got the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh in America.
I watched it just because it was kind of entertaining, but I never really I never like looked into it, so I don't know this stuff.
Yeah.
Fuck you for knowing this stuff.
Yeah. So, well, dude, you got to remember, I used to play in tournaments and stuff like that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So
it kind of got me into the Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Yeah. It was fun, then it got complicated.
Well, it's like Pokemon.
Yeah, like Pokemon. We never got the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh, and in the very first season of Yu-Gi-Oh, it's actually pretty damn dark. What ends up happening is when Kaiba is literally possessed by a demon, and the entire thing focuses on that. Yeah, and so when we get to with Yugi and Kaiba doing their card battle, and then he puts his hand at him, and he's got that weird look on his face, and all the lights are exploding. He's literally exercising him.
Yeah,
and then you have the scenes where people are pointing at Yu-Gi-Oh and his friends, and they're running away, and they're ducking for cover, and they're running. That's because in the original anime, they were pointing guns at him.
Yeah.
And they were shooting at him, trying to kill them. Or how about in Chrono Trigger, where Toma kept asking for his favorite pop?
Oh, yeah.
He was looking for booze. He was going place to place to find the best booze.
Yeah, because he's a fucking boozer.
Yeah, thank God when they re-released it, all that stuff was put back in. Even when we got Chrono Trigger, we didn't realize how bad the translation was. Now, in Woosley's defense, in Woosley's defense, he was still a student at the time, and he had to work in extremely confined restraints.
Well, there's that element.
The text had to match the same amount of characters in the original Japanese, all kinds of stuff. But there is a scene where Aya makes a lesbian reference or a bisexual reference. And we didn't get that in the American scene. Now, the way they changed it, it made sense with the way they changed the conversation. But then when we got the new one, everyone's like, "Oh my God, Aya's a lesbian!" No. I honestly think that people took that out of context, and I still to this day will say, no. No, she says she likes strong people, men, women, doesn't matter. I
remember that now.
Yeah, I think the characters took it wrong, but it does imply that she was saying that as a, hey, look, if you're strong, I think you're sexy.
Yeah, she's just saying.
And they changed
that.
And so they changed that in the American release, and then they changed it back, in the re-release, which I'm glad they did because I thought it was a pretty funny statement.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't really that bad either. But at the time, you got to look at, especially, I want to say what Chrono Trigger came out in '96.
Something like that.
At the time, they, they were called SquareSoft at the time, ladies and gentlemen. They were probably being extremely PC because they didn't want to piss off ther fan base. They were doing really well.
Yep, they were doing great. This was before the ESRB too, before games were rated.
So they you got to remember they're not necessarily getting a foothold on the American audience as far as video games. They already have their foot in the door. They don't want to fuck it up. So what they're going to do is this is just, me speculating. What I'm thinking happened was, they're like, okay, well, we're not sure how they're going to react to that, as a whole, that dialogue. So we're going to change it just slightly and make it towards not, what we intended it to be or what it could have been. And on top of that, there's always the scare of parents freaking out. Like you said, the ESRB wasn't around at the time.
Other examples for anime is, Roshi with his panties.
Oh God.
So they removed that. They just removed that completely.
Dragon Ball was extremely censored. You have Bulma showing fucking Goku or panties. I don't even think she was wearing panties in that.
Yeah, well, yeah, because he said. Because it basically, I'm pretty sure it was when he went to put out Fire Mountain, and you see the Kamehameha for the first time from Roshi, and he says, "I'll do it, but Bulma has to give me your panties," and she says, "But I'm not wearing any panties," and he shows her, right. Or she shows him, and it goes crazy, and then God, what was the other one that I was thinking of?
I was talking about when she was trying to get the 4-star Dragon Ball from little Goku.
Oh, that's right.
She's like, I'll give you a show. And and he's like, I don't want to see your stinky panties.
Yeah.
And she gets all pissed off. Oh, Bulma, you're such a slut, but I do in a second.
Oh, she a hoe.
Oh, I don't give a shit. I would fuck all versions of Bulma. And that's something about those crazy bitches I love.
God, what was it? Oh yeah, like Pokemon. There was entire episodes that were cut out of that.
Oh yeah, because
like the one with the beach competition, which was basically just fan service.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a big Misty episode, right?
It was focused on her winning, and everyone was going crazy over her and her flat chest. And
there's nothing's better than a fucking 12-year-old in the Oh god, dude, Japan, please.
Yeah,
stop.
What the fuck?
Stop with the pedophilia and the incest. Just stop.
But, yeah, I mean, the censorship laws in Japan have actually shaped how a lot of the porn in Japan has come about, like the whole tentacle porn, because the interpretation of their censorship law is, genitalia of any kind is offensive. So they started making tentacles and stuff like that because, they're monsters. It doesn't look like human genitalia.
Doesn't look like a dick.
Yeah, so therefore it's okay. So
and on top of that, tentacles are big, so you can't really see the female genitalia too much either. And on top of that, you could cover up boobies. Oh, I love anime, and you know what? I'm even a fan of some hentai, but because I love the colors. I love the colors of all those, and it seems like some of them are just super, super vivid and. It's like watching an anime, but you're like on fucking ecstasy.
Yeah.
You're true. Like, oh god, he just splooged, but he splooged like 5 gallons. Oh, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. Those are colors of white I've never seen before.
Yeah.
Since there's some censorship that just, especially here in the United States, just make no sense. Like we said, we generally don't get political. In fact, we got a little political on this one, but it was only just to kind of prove a point of kind of how this history goes. I'm usually not comfortable with political, but in this case, it was necessary. It was necessary.
Yeah, like I said, it is a political issue. It's very polarizing. Some people are like, well, you have to take people's sensibilities and their feelings into consideration, and then you've got the other people who are like, no, if it changes the art and changes the meaning and the understanding and the character development, then you need to leave it alone because it's the integrity of the art form itself.
Well, you remember, I want to say we were in high school, and there was a like a bombing or a shooting at a school. I won't say which one, but certain politicians came up, both got up on their pedestals and started preaching how first-person shooters were the blame,
like Doom, because
Doom on their computer.
People were everyone had Doom. My stepdad at work had fucking Doom on his computer. And he's not a gamer.
I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you weren't, I'm sure we have a lot of young listeners.
We're not talking about the new Doom.
No.
Which is just a prettier version of the original Doom. It's fucking Doom. Kids, if you want to play Doom, and you've got it on pre-order for like the $60 or $120 version and stuff like that, because Doom's coming out, just download Doom. Well, it's the same fucking game.
Well, I mean, with multiplayer, with a better multiplayer.
Yeah, but who gives a shit?
But I agree with you. I'm not going to buy it. It's the same game. But my point with Doom was that a lot of people don't realize this, but AOL was like sending these games out with their packages just to get you to fucking play. So
you could have Doom, something else, or Ultima Online.
Diablo at one point. The first Diablo, they were sending out.
The demo version.
The demo version.
Yes, they were, because that is how Bish got hooked on Diablo.
That's right. Because
he ended up getting with AOL.
Yeah, because we got. I think I got the demo first, and then I got the full version, and then Yeah,
because I ended up getting it, and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was fucking amazing. Anyway. But my point is that was a long time ago. This is when AOL was whoring their product through like mail
and Happy Meals.
Yes, you would get fucking like discs, floppy disks. This is how long ago this was. You would get floppy disks with like in a package, and one would be the AOL, like, insert AOL, pay for our service, you get internet, blah blah blah. And then like next to it would be like the Doom demo or the Doom game, and they're just doing their best to sucker you in. And of course, some of them had viruses on it.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
People
started learning that AOL's sending this out, so I'm going to send out my own.
And this is what it is, political or not. Everyone tries to find a scapegoat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in this situation where there was a shooting and or bombing or whatever it was, I can't remember. Because I remember you and I had a conversation about at length. Everyone turns to politicians for an answer. And how easy is an answer is this guy had Doom on his computer? It must be first-person shooter.
Yeah.
You know?
We train our soldiers on something similar. First of all, no, they didn't.
If it's an easy answer, video games are the problem. If you know, we got to censor this and this is why.
That's why I always love that whole "don't censor me."
Yeah, you know, and that's another thing. As a writer, I don't like the idea of being censored. You know, I kind of want to do that blow your mind thing in certain books and stuff that I write. There's also that common sense thing to where like you don't want to go overboard.
If you're going to market My Little Pony to 12-year-olds or even 8-year-olds or 6-year-olds, you're not going to have the My Little Ponies goring people. You got to look at it and say, okay, well, if My Little Ponies are going around goring people, how dare you market it to 6-year-olds? They're not.
Yeah.
They're not. Then if that was the case, My Little Pony is not for 6-year-olds.
No.
So don't allow them to watch it.
It would have a different rating, and then
So don't ask for censorship and change things because you don't like it because it upsets you. Well, then do not allow yourself to bear witness to it and get involved with it. Leave it alone.
That's the thing. You don't have to do this. You don't have to play these games. You don't have to watch these animes. You don't have to read Huck Finn.
Yeah. Don't remove what you don't like.
Well,
don't participate in it. And you know what? I'm going to say this again. We're going to pretend the right's religious and the left is atheist liberal.
Yeah, it's not necessarily how it is, but it's just an example.
Right. Yeah, I'm just using this only as an example that on the right, the religious side, if you think that is offensive and blasphemic and it goes against God, then do not participate. You are the majority in the world. So if you decide, we're not going to participate in this, we're not going to be involved in this, they will lose more money than they make.
They'll learn from it.
And God does not need you to take back the world. It belongs to God already. He can do it himself.
Yes, religion.
Yeah. Now, for the people on the left, there is no God and people are responsible for their own actions. Let people decide what they want. You don't know what's better for me. You don't know what's best for me. Let me make my decisions. If I make a mistake, it's on me. Fuck you. Leave me alone. It is my right to consume that. It is my right to ignore it.
Yeah. That's like, you can't watch Dragon Ball Z because it's violent.
Let me decide. If I decide Dragon Ball Z is violent and I don't want to expose myself to that, then I won't watch it.
Let me put it this way, and this is...
Which I love Dragon Ball.
Oh, of course. I love the whole series. But my point is this. It's like, okay, say, I had a child, which I don't, thank God.
Yeah. Don't need more than you.
Don't need more than me. One child's good enough for me, and that's just me. I'm the baby.
Yep.
Anyway, say I had a child, okay, and I wanted to introduce this little fucker. I wanted to introduce him to Dragon Ball. Okay, buddy, we're gonna sit down. We're gonna watch Dragon Ball together. It's gonna be a father-son event. Now, do you think automatically? I mean, there are things out there that your kid does want to emulate. I mean, when we were young, we liked to play Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtles, Conan,
but
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, because it was cool. We thought it was cool. However, I didn't go up to anyone and try and chop their fucking head off because I watched Conan.
And I didn't mimic the conversations, in the style. Like, I didn't walk up and was like a dick to people like Peter Venkman. I would say things like there's a trap or there's a specter and stuff like that. That's how kids emulate. They don't go out and go, oh, wow, okay, so I'm going to walk up, I'm going to start punching people, I'm going to kick them in the balls, I'm going to steal this woman's purse. Kids don't mimic that way.
Well,
they play cops and robbers.
They can, but the thing is, that's where parenting comes in.
Right.
The right and wrong aspect. If your kid's already hitting people, maybe you shouldn't let them watch TVs until, you get that...
And maybe you should hit the kid so it understands what it's putting other people through.
Spank your children! Not like overbearingly, because being in my job, I've seen people actually abuse children, and it pisses me off. That's like one of my pet peeves.
Yeah, but somebody whopping their kid on the butt because they're being an asshole.
Fuck yeah, I was spanked growing up. I got a few lumps, and it was my own damn ass fault. I learned from it, and that's how it should be. Yeah, this is a pretty serious episode.
Yeah, a little bit, but it has to be.
It's okay. It's because we're very passionate about what we're talking about, and
we need to be more vocal about things. And
I think we have been. I mean,
yeah, and stop fighting amongst ourselves. This whole Gamergate thing and everything like that. Just fucking. Oh yeah, just fucking stop it. Knock it off.
What is that?
Oh God, with the whole Anna Sarkeesian thing, where she was fucking people to get her game reviewed, and well, no, not Anna Sarkeesian wasn't doing that. The one chick who the developer was doing that, but Anna Sarkeesian with the everything. This is an actual quote. Everything is racist. Everything is sexist, and everything needs to be brought up and addressed. No, she's an idiot. She admits she's not a gamer. She doesn't understand any of it. She's just on a rant to get things done, and that's a whole other conversation. But
I must have been working a lot because I have not heard of that.
Oh, she's a twat, and not just because she is a female. She's just a twat.
She's just a horrible person.
She's a horrible person. And Now, granted, one guy had 150 different aliases and was harassing her, so it wasn't all these people. But there are a few people who were harassing her. And it's just like, nerds, really? Knock it the fuck off.
Yeah. Well, there's a difference between raising your voice and saying something and straight harassment. So.
Right. And so people like her need to be shut up in the correct way. People like Hillary Clinton need to be shut up in the right way. People like the Bible thumping, no dancing, no drinking, no smiling religious people need to be shut up and understand things.
Well, the thing is they're saying it because they have an alternative motive. They have an agenda, and It's because I want you to be like me.
Or I want you to do what I say, but I'm above you, so I can do what I want.
Or this is the scapegoat. And we're not saying we love or hate Hillary, because we're not here to say that. We do have our opinions, but we're keeping those to ourselves.
Yeah. It's just she's relevant in this conversation and relevant because of...
Yes.
So fuck censorship.
Fuck censorship. If you guys have anything you want to, mention, let us know. And we'll go on to like a kind of a second segment here that Sunrise said he wanted to talk about with me on the phone earlier.
Yeah, and this is just a real quick thing, because as we said, we're not social justice warriors. We're not champions for women.
We're men.
Not saying that, women shouldn't have rights. You have to be a fucking idiot to take it that way. Yeah. But I've been playing back through Arkham Knight, and I had put it down for a while because I was getting frustrated because I
beat it.
No, and that's why I've been going through it again, because now I want to beat it, and I've got to beat it because damn it, it's such a damn good game.
It is a good game, except for Bat Tank.
Yes, the Bat Tank is not acceptable. So I'm playing through it, and I noticed that before I lost internet, it must have a while ago downloaded the Arkham episodes, which you get different characters and stuff like that, and
you get Harley for free.
You get Harley for free. And we've already voiced our opinion that we don't really like Tara Strong as Harley Quinn.
We voiced that strongly.
Yeah,
mind the pun.
Yeah. And Harley Quinn is not stupid. Harley Quinn, or as Harleen Quinzel, is extremely intelligent. She was a psychotherapist, actually, very well educated. And once she snapped and went with the Joker, she was not only that super highly intelligent, but she is fucking dangerous. She acts a certain way because she believes, through her own psychosis and her analysis of Joker, this is how she wants her to act in order to have a woman in his life. When she's not with Joker, she does not act goofy. She is not stupid. And in Arkham Knight, they have turned her into a fucking moron.
Oh, big time.
And I am so angry about it.
Well, it started in Arkham City. Arkham City, unfortunately.
Yeah, and just like one point, Penguin's telling her, and I don't want to ruin it for anybody. Basically, he's saying that they're going to get Ivy in order to go kill Batman, but he says it in this very, the very Penguin-esque way. Mm-hmm. And Harley goes, well, why would I do that? Why don't I just go break her out and I can go kill the Bat? And he says, Harley, that's what I was trying to tell you. And she goes, well, why didn't you just say that in the first place? I'm not stupid, And it's like, that is not Harley.
No, she's not.
And there's a scene where you're taking one of the Joker clones back.
Yeah,
and her
spoiler alert on that one, by the way.
Yeah, and her goons are blocking the way, and as Batman you hide, and then Tim comes up, Tim Drake, Robin, comes walking up with them, and she comes walking out, she's got a machine gun pointed at his face. And he tells her, Batman's not coming out because he doesn't take you seriously, and neither do I. And she says, oh, really, Mr. Big Man? Open the gate. Harley is not that stupid. She is not antagonized easy that way. When she first showed up in the cartoons, it was made very, very clear by Batman several times. There was a couple episodes where I remember him telling other people, I remember him telling Robin one time, Robin, do not underestimate Harley.
Yes.
She is dangerous.
Yeah.
She has put the hurt on Batman. She has laid extra traps thinking that she was going to help out the Joker. Now,
she's gotten in trouble for it.
Yeah, and she's gotten in trouble for it. She's not stupid. She's not just this go, go, go cheerleader bullshit.
Well, that's what Tara Strong made her out to be.
And that's how they wrote Tara Strong.
Tara Strong, the voice horror.
And as soon as they started to have her do stuff, all of a sudden, Harley's the stupid woman who just happened to inherit Joker's men.
Yeah, and see that...
and that pisses me off because maybe I just like Harley so much, and I'm not the person who's jumping on this Harley bandwagon because of Suicide Squad. We have loved Harley since we saw her. We're like, oh my God, it's a strong, evil...
She's a complex character.
Complex character, yeah. And as a female character, it is actually... very intriguing about her. She's very complicated. She's not just stupid. She's not. There was an episode where I remember where one of Joker's men made some comment to about Harley, and Joker looks at her and folds his arms like, "What are you gonna do about it?" And she beats his ass. No effort.
So that's the beauty. She's crazy, you know. And like I've said in the past, one of the things I love about Harley is that she's very loyal. She's loyal. There's kind of a romance to her, and that's just a part of her charm as far as a character, you know. But she's not dumb.
No, I think that's one of the things that intrigues me about the Suicide Squad movie coming out with that Harley. She is very... Look, cuteness, I'm sorry for listening to this, but yeah, she is, as the character, she is very sexy.
Oh, even the animated is sexy.
Yeah. But they make it very clear in the scenes that I have seen of her, she is not stupid.
She's not to be fucked with.
Yeah, I mean, when the guys go into her cell, she fucks them up. When she meets all the people for the first time after they get the bombs implanted in them and they're getting briefed, she's making crazy statements, and you can see her watching people. She knows what's going on. And now I think when she ends up meeting back up with Joker, and I'm really hoping this, that she'll even do the Mr. J, my pudding, and she'll start to do that. But the minute she's away from him again, she'll start the go fuck yourself. I'm not stupid again. Because she only acts like that to make Joker happy. Yep. And I think someone forgot that when they made the Tara Strong version of Harley.
Yeah, I think the writing got sloppy as far as Harley Quinn goes. Because the writing as far as like all the other characters, all the other villains, even the little mentioned villains like the Mad Hatter and Zaz, you know, the writing's spot on. But somewhere down the line, someone really fucked up on Harley Quinn, where, you know, and it, like I said, I noticed it in Arkham City, where everyone was kind of like, oh, Harley's fucking stupid, blah, 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 you know? And that's actually my theory. I think that the original voice actress had seen that they're making her a little dumber and just said, fuck it, I'm out, drop the mic, you know? And then, of course, Tara Strong was like, really? I'm going to be Harley? Okay. And just jumped right on that bandwagon and fucking wrote it like Joker.
Yep.
I mean, okay, and I'll say this. I don't like her as Harley, but it's not necessarily her voice. It's how she acts.
Right, yeah. There have been a couple times, even in Arkham Knight, where I'm like, okay, that sounds like Harley.
Yeah, Arkham City, there was a few parts where I was like, not so.
But yeah, and Mark Hamill, love you, buddy. You will always be Joker to me.
Mark Hamill is definitely the animated Joker. Every time I see anything Mark Hamill, I hear the Joker's voice. And
and honestly, and Hamill, I don't know if you actually know how to sing or you can't sing, but that scene in Arkham Knight when he's actually singing as the Joker. Oh, I was dying. I'm like, this is, and I love how afterwards they're like,
his parents are dead and shit.
Yeah, and they even make mention like, God, that was the worst singing I've ever heard. It's just like, okay, that's funny. Well, all right, nerds. If there's a topic you want us to cover, or let us know how you feel on censorship and things like that. We love to hear about it, and we'll even comment about it in the future and stuff like that. I mean, heck, even one of the episodes was because of one of our listeners. So
yes, let us know if there's anything you want us to review. Let us know if there's a video game you want us to try. Heck, we're always open for that.
And I will review Final Fantasy 15 because I've got a full-on hard fucking nerd boner for Final Fantasy 15. I'm actually interested in Battlefield 1 as well.
I was just about to say that. Battlefield 1 looks like it might be.
I'm very interested.
But DICE is, doing their thing on it, so you never know.
Never know.
You never know. And World War I's I think it was a good idea. Anyway, everyone, thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Good night, nerds.
Stay sexy.